Hello and welcome to The Bottom Line on TVP World. This is where we unpack some of the main business and economic stories of the day. I'm your host, Marie Cato. The focus on Polish defence and armament procurement has become a top priority since the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. But it also comes after a period of Polish defence procurement being sidelined. But that tide is definitely turning. In Europe, Poland is leading the way with record levels of defence investment. Let's go to Young Kennedy's feature to find out more.
European nations are ramping up their military capabilities in response to the growing threat from Russia, and Poland is one of them. On Wednesday, Poland's Deputy Minister of Defence, Cezary Tomczyk, attended a ceremony where the state-owned chemical company Nitrochem signed a deal with the US for the sale of €280 million worth of TNT and announced another major investment.
We are talking about delivering 18,000 tons of TNT to the United States over a 3-year period. It's worth mentioning that Poland is the largest supplier of TNT to the United States. In the coming years, we want to invest over 3 billion PLN in an ammunition factory in Poland.
Poland is one of the world's largest producers of explosives, offering Europe an autonomous and reliable supply source. European self-sufficiency in defence will be a key topic this coming weekend, as EU finance ministers are set to discuss a major new initiative called the European Defence Mechanism. It is to facilitate joint procurement of defence equipment, which includes buying and sharing arms among EU members for a fee. This spending will be backed by the EU, keeping outlays off national budgets. Most importantly, however, its aim is to strengthen the European defence industry by prioritising contracts for EU-based companies, reducing fragmentation.
European institutions are looking for ways how to streamline the overall ambition to lead to an effective capability build-up. So part of that process is enabling joint procurements and joint research and development. So that's sort of in a purview of European funding.
It comes 1 month after the European Commission announced its own defence boosting plan in March. It is set to mobilise a combined €800 billion. €650 billion will be made exempt from the member states' deficit in a bid to increase spending by 1.5% of GDP. 150 will be offered in low-interest loans, nearly 2/3 of which will have to be spent on EU-made equipment. NATO members were expected to meet a 2% of GDP defence spending target in 2024, though many still fall short. Poland, however, is leading this effort.
Poland plans to spend 4.7% of GDP this year, the most among NATO countries, among European Union countries. 5% is definitely the goal that we want to achieve next year. And even due to the multi-year contracts that we have signed, we have to maintain a high level of spending for years to come.
This year, Poland will allocate over 1/3 of its €43.5 billion defence budget to acquiring new military equipment and armaments. In the coming years, the country expects major deliveries, primarily from the US and South Korea, including K2 tanks, F-35 fighter jets, Apache helicopters, and Patriot missile defence systems, the latter secured through an agreement signed in March. Domestic technology also plays a key role, with Polish-made Krab self-propelled howitzers, Borsuk infantry fighting vehicles, and Rosomak armoured personnel carriers included in the procurement plans. However, experts argue that a portion of the funding should also support smaller players.
I think the key challenge for our own industry is right now to strengthen by sending more money to smaller, medium-sized and smaller firms which can be placed in military production, not always defined as a military production company.
Although Poland has already secured many types of weapons systems, many more are still required, among them submarines and a total build-up of multi-layered anti-air defence systems. In this endeavour, European funds would provide much-needed relief for the Polish budget.
Poland plans a record level of defence spending in the coming decade. According to Deloitte's most recent report, this expenditure is going to amount to 440 billion euros, which is a notable increase to the last decade, which was just under 200 billion euros. To discuss the details of where Poland's military procurement stands this year, I'm joined by General Michał Marciniak, Deputy Head of the Polish Armament Agency, a defence procurement body at the Polish Ministry of Defence. Hello, and thank you for joining us in the studio.
Nice to meet you.
So, Poland is spending significant amounts of money on new weapon systems. Could you tell us about the most important ones?
It's hard to say which one is the most important because the whole transformation or the technical modernization in the Polish armed forces is going through the all domains, starting from the Navy, the sea domain, air domain, and land domain. So, as of today, it's worth to mention that we are spending around 400 billion Polish złotych, and Armament Agency is executing right now around 450 different contracts from different types of the weapon systems. And the most significant contracts from the previous years is, of course, F-35, the aircraft, all types of the helicopters, the combat helicopters, rescue helicopters, search and rescue helicopters, as well as the land domain, like tanks, K2, Abrams, and the modernization of Leopard. In the land domain, it's worth to mention that a couple days ago we signed a contract for Borsuk, for infantry fighting vehicle, the origin Polish product, which will be delivered to the Polish armed forces, and the numbers we are expecting from the industry is huge. So it's hard to say which one is the most important.
All of them are important, I suppose. But how is that procurement process going? Is it going as smoothly as you expected? Are there some hiccups, perhaps some unexpected difficulties along the way?
The biggest difficulty is that right now, after the crisis in the Ukraine, everybody's looking for the weapon systems. And the capacity of the industry is very limited. Right now, all industry all over the world is trying to grow up. But nevertheless, especially the munition, this is something crucial, and everybody is looking for 155 millimeter munition, and the line for this munition is quite long. So that's the quite important issue, to have this capability in country and rely mostly on the Polish industry. On the other way, the price of this goods is going very high because of needs from different countries. Yes. Yeah.
And in terms of the K2 tanks, this is something that has been followed quite closely in the media, the contract with the Koreans. We know that some of them were supposed to be manufactured in Poland, but the talks have stalled. Can you tell us a little bit more about what happened?
Right now, we are still in the negotiation process with our colleagues from the Polish industry as well as the Korean, and the biggest challenge in this case is the transfer of technology and transfer of knowledge to Poland to be able to assemble these tanks or produce some components of these tanks here in Poland, because it's worth to mention that we are rebuilding some capabilities in our industry. And long time ago, we produced tanks, but right now we need to start from the scratch. So this is the biggest challenge: how to ensure the proper technology transfer to the Polish industry.
And what kind of timeline do you think we have ahead of us?
I think that right now we are talking about weeks, because even today I had a very fruitful discussion with the Polish industry about the future of this project, and some changes are needed because it's really tough to cooperate in such complicated weapon system. But I really believe that during the next couple of weeks, at least the second executive contract should be signed.
And can you tell us a little bit more about the Borsuki tender? Because this is something that I'm sure that you're very proud of.
Yes, we are proud because this is fortunately, we signed the contract after years of the R&D process, research and development. We are proud because this is Polish product, which is quite unique. This infantry fighting vehicle, based on our requirements, we had and we still have very tough requirements, especially with the maneuverability and the capability of for the water capabilities. So this one is very unique and very modern against the rest of the world solutions. What we are working right now is to how to grow up the capacity of the Polish industry, because we need them hundreds, not only couple hundred we just ordered.
And we've talked about what has been purchased, but I wanted to ask you about what perhaps will be procured this year. Which systems do you consider to be the most important in terms of what you still plan to procure?
The most popular for this year is for sure submarine. We are looking for submarine right now. We discuss with different governments about the acquisition of the system, but on the other hand, it's worth to understand that acquisition of the weapon system is a long time process. So even if we sign the framework agreements for exact number of the tanks, for example, like K2, we signed the first executive contract. Right now we are negotiating the second one, but in front of us we have additional 3 or 4. So even though we are working to supply armed forces, to keep eye on the deliveries, on the quality, how to introduce this equipment to the armed forces, because acquisition is only one part of the capabilities.
But I understand that the anti-air defense system is something that is also quite crucial.
Yes, and we have some experience from the Ukrainian war about the air and missile defense system, how important it is. And fortunately, I'm taking care about the system because I'm
That's your area of expertise.
Yes, and right now we are building quite modern multi-layer air defense system with different layers from the very short range, and medium range. And what I can say, so far so good. It's really a complicated project, especially when we have 3 different countries involved in this process, because the highest layer named Wisła, it's based on the Patriot IBCS solution. The middle one, the short range, is called NAREW. Yes, it's with the cooperation with the British industry, and the lowest layer, very short range, Pilica Plus, is mostly a Polish solution. So talking about integration of all these layers is very challenging. But as I mentioned, so far so good. And last December, the first squadron of the air defense in Sohachev, the initial operational capability was announced. So it's a huge progress and a huge milestone in building this system.
So I understand this is the command and control system that you're referring to.
Yes, IBCS is the most advanced C2 command and control system all over the world. There are only 2 countries who are operating with the system. The US Army is the first one, we are the second one. And introducing the brand new, completely different C2 system into the armed forces is very complicated. We need to change our mindset, we need to change the philosophy, how to fight and how to protect the assets or soldiers. So
when do you think that this command and control system will be ready to implement in the army?
I really believe that the first squadron, because in building this capability, we have some phases. And with the first squadron, I really believe that this year, at the end of this year, we reach the full operational capability. But before this, we need to have the live fire. And as of today, the live firing is planned on September. And this live firing will be some kind of the certification. And once we successfully go through this process, the whole squadron will be certified to FOC. It means that we are ready to fight.
Oh, excellent news. And which of these system components are actually procured in Poland?
Mostly the very short-range air defense system, Pilica, but based on the NAREW contract, we absorb technology for production and co-production and co-development missiles and the launchers here in Poland. So it means that from the certain number of the missiles, all of them will be produced here in Poland. And this knowledge will give us capability to develop the new one, because it's not a secret that once we develop something and introduce to the armed forces, we need to start thinking what will be the next step. So this knowledge will allow us to participate in the international programs for development of the new missiles.
Of course. Well, that's excellent news. I wanted to put all this news that you've shared with us into the European context, because in terms of the financing, obviously these are huge amounts of money that we're talking about. How much can Poland actually obtain from the SAFE initiative?
It's still under discussion because we discuss with the Minister of Finance what type of the projects could be financed by the SAFE instrument. There are some restrictions what kind of the weapon systems could be funded by this instrument. And we need to face with this. We need to pick the projects which will meet the European Union requirements. And once we define it, we will put some applications for refunding or funding this the new project or existing one.
Can you give us some examples?
I think that the how to say, NAREF maybe could be used. Maybe some projects with Norway. We have some projects dedicated for Ukraine. I cannot say which one, but connected with air defense. So we have the list of the projects which could be accepted by European Union for this funding. And as I mentioned, there are a lot of limitations connected with these fundings, especially with the dates. Up to a certain date, we need to deliver it. And in the case of the weapon systems, it's really hard to predict if we are able to deliver very complicated system in certain time. It's not that we have the markets with weapons. We need to build capability in our industry, produce, and deliver. So it doesn't take 1 or 2 years.
And of course, there could be something unexpected that happens that holds you up.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to ask, is Poland open to procuring weapons together with other countries? Because by the sounds of it, the answer would be yes.
And it's good because right now, even today, there was today or yesterday, there was a commitment from the government that the new act will be produced or delivered to Parliament for other procedure, which allow armament agency to procure on behalf of the other countries. Because as of today, we are not able to do this because of the law. And the law will be changed, and we will be more open for international cooperation. But right now, we are under the EDIRPA. It's one of the European Union projects for common procurement, and together with other 4 countries, we are buying manpads, Piorun, the most popular weapon system from Poland, for other countries, and I believe that we will be able to sign the contracts and deliver goods.
Well, as we wrap up, I wanted to ask about your opinion regarding this multitude weapon system debate that's been going on in the EU. There are mixed opinions about it. So some believe, or many believe, that it makes procurement more expensive. What is your opinion on that?
I don't think that it will be more expensive. What I'm afraid of is that as of today, the whole European industry is very divided and they compete each other. And if we want to be some kind of the counterweight against the US industry, US defense industry, the European industry should be united, but united with all size of the companies. I mean, the unification shouldn't be done through the collection in one big industry, because we have very strong Western industry, German or the French, and if we unite with all industries with different capabilities, I think that it would be the key for success. And I wouldn't be afraid about the price, because this is the still place for negotiations. But I cannot compete with France, for example, in the missile area, because it doesn't make sense.
Of course.
So this is the biggest problem, in my opinion, of course.
Okay. General Michał Marciniak, Deputy Head of the Polish Armament Agency, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you very much.
And that wraps up The Bottom Line for today. I was your host, Marie Cato. We're on every weekday at 5:10 CET on TVP World. And in the meantime, for the latest in regional business, follow us on X and on tvpworld.com. And for more news and analysis, stay with us on TVP World. Goodbye.